Welcome back, you beautiful bastards. This is the Trial by Error Variety Show podcast, episode number 76, featuring Liam James Marsh from Boston, UK. And I am steering this raft upriver. One more time, let's give it up for Easy Deviance off of the EP Bird Nest. This is Inner Thoughts. So slick. You guys, if you don't have the EP, go to our Bandcamp page right now. While you're listening to this, I know you're looking at other shit. Go to Bandcamp. Look at our collection. Find everything that Easy Deviance has done right there in our collection. Name your price. Support an artist like this, who's clearly put a lot into their work and is asking you to decide the value of that work. Me personally, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. Something like this that could just set the mood time and time again, take you from space to space without even moving your legs. Invaluable, you guys, and that is the power of music. And my guest today he's a music ambassador. He's got a slew of projects. I'm not kidding, man. Everything I'm showing you here, I asked Liam to pick 4 songs. I said 3, maybe 4, and he goes, all right, I find 4 songs, and that's you, Liam. So, basically, the list goes on and on for bands here. He has Kid Chameleon, Short Story Picture Book, Bedbound by Summer, Tired Eyes. Every one of these bands that I've listed has multiple EPs, albums, covers. I don't know if he sleeps. I didn't ask, but I don't think Liam sleeps. And if he does, he's writing music in his sleep, like Keith Richards, man. One of my favorite kind of people to talk to, just super laid back. And actually had planned to talk to him at the beginning of the year when I talked to 50% of one of his other projects that I didn't even list earlier. I totally forgot about it. It's called Fine, and Alice Cat was our guest, and she'll be back again soon. But once again, we took the old questionnaire off the table. Psh, we're done with it, right? You want to learn about bands? You want to learn about success stories? Go to a different podcast. We're not there yet, guys. We are on the journey towards success. No matter how successful we are right now, none of us are satisfied with where we're at. That's why we're here, pushing for something else, right? So welcome. If you're a first timer, welcome on this journey with us. And you old timers, welcome back. So without further ado, let me paddle this little raft of ours right over here to shore. Here's a towel. Here's one for you, one for you. Gonna light us a campfire. I want us to sit back and enjoy the show. Well, how are you, Liam?
I'm good, man. Thank you. How are you?
Good. It's good to finally meet you.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a good while.
I guess I should let my audience know my first introduction to you was I guess just a little EP you did with Fine with Alice Cat. I knew you were releasing some new stuff. It's out. You've actually released several things since we've talked. So there's plenty to play in here. But yeah, it was kind of like, well, let's wait. We got some stuff coming out. One of the things that captivated me about your musical collection was your amount of covers and the in-depth versions of the covers that you go to, almost like to excruciating detail. One of my favorite bands growing up was Blink. And to nail down those songs the way you did, I was like, all right, dude, I know it's just a cover, but the rest of your music really outshines your cover work. But just the tedious detail in which you put into the Blink album, I was like, fuck, this is cool. So yeah, with that, I want to give you the floor, and I'm gonna prod you with a brand new collection of questions. So I just basically am gonna give you these open-ended prompts, and I want to hear what's in Liam's head. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So let's start with a very let's start with an easy one, okay? And it's kind of
Mhm.
music related. But what top 5 albums being played in on your Spotify CD player, however you listen to music? What are the top 5 that you turn to sort of escape or inspire?
Is that of all time? Of all time, yeah.
Let's say all time, but I want you to dig in your recent, like what have you been turning to recently?
A constant is the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys are my favorite band, and for them, I know it's dodging the question, but I don't go to an album, just any Beach Boys, even the
Hmm.
bad stuff. I love the bad stuff, and there's enough of it. So any Beach Boys, Pet Sounds is great, but I'll take Surf and Safari as well,
Very
and it
cool.
is a bad album. Other than that, the new Taylor Swift is great. There's no denying that. She worked with the guy from the National. It
Oh,
was always going to be good.
dude, he's working with so many people now. It's crazy. He worked with Phoebe Bridgers as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Well, that's another one. She produced an album by a guy, Christian Lee Hudson. She
Hmm.
produced his album recently, and that is a really good album.
So I heard her talking about that album, and she said that it was the best album ever made. So
Yeah.
it's on my get to list. But is he a new artist, or is he somebody that's kind of been around the circuit that finally is getting known? I'm not.
I think he's been around for a while. He put an album out in like 2012 or 13 or something. I think it was the same thing as you. It might have been like an Amoeba video or something
Hmm.
where she pulled it out of the bag and said that I produced this. It's a great album. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And it is really good. And I don't know. I'm always so scared that my favorite album is still out there, and I'm worried I'll never find it.
Well, nothing's
And
gonna get
I've,
held against you here. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, I'm so fascinated with how people end up where they are in their musical taste, and to
yeah,
still be cherishing something as, I guess as cherished as the Beach Boys are. That's sort of a rare thing nowadays, A lot of people, like, I still love Creedence Clearwater Revival. They're on my constant
yeah,
playlist. And it even kind of daunts me sometimes where I'm like, these guys haven't music in so long, and I'm still listening to these 50-year-old songs like they just made. Um, okay, that's 3. 2 more.
um, Lonely Deer, a Swedish guy.
Okay.
He's always a go-to. His album Lonely Noir is perfect for me. The album Hall Music is perfect for me. I cover one of his songs every year and I send it over, and he always seems to enjoy it and appreciate it. So that's always nice.
Oh, that's really cool. Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just obsessed with him. And the way I make music now is almost directly from his music, I think.
Hmm.
Like
So, have you?
instruments just appear out of nowhere, and
Wait, repeat that. I cut you off.
like the way the instrumentation just, I don't know, it just appears without you even realizing. Suddenly there are horn sections and clarinets and things, and you wonder where did they come from. I don't know how he does it. He's incredible. He really is.
Yeah, that's always fascinating to me. How something starts from like an acoustic version or just like somebody on a piano to like all of a sudden now everybody's on board and you have this masterpiece. You know.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't had that much luck, so it's just a lot of demos floating around out there. I've even done some covers of the National, actually.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I
What
don't
did you
think they've
do?
heard them. I did. I did Slow Show,
That's a great
and
song.
I did Green Gloves,
Also a
and
great song.
um, I didn't do them justice, but it was just me. But I think my whole goal was just kind of like to turn my listeners on to that style.
Yeah.
But the National blew up bigger than I could ever help them. So that's great.
They're doing all right.
It is great. God, man, that album Boxer really is so emotionally, deep. There's just so much in that. So much inspiration came from just that one national album for me. But where are we at? Oh yeah, you have one more.
Are we going? Do you want recent or do you want all time?
Any time, all time.
It's Yancey, the singer of Sigur Rós. His solo album Go is probably my all-time favorite album.
I'm writing these down.
And it's only about 9 songs, but again, the instrumentation and
very cool.
I listen to it and it makes no sense to me when I hear it.
That's exciting. I like that. In
the same way that like when I hear the 1975, I listen to their music and it doesn't make sense to me.
That's saying a lot coming from somebody who really knows music. I mean, you record very humbly on your 8-track, which requires all of your basically focus and attention. I mean, there's very, very little room for error in a situation like that, So that's, for me, I mean, that's me recognizing, I know how you know how to put together songs to be that captivated by a band and really have that many questions, really just intrigues the shit out of me. There's things that do that where it's like you turn it on and it's so predictable, that it's kind of a turn off, if it's too predictable. And I'm not saying I don't like country music or folk music, but if you know what line or where the music's going to go next, then I feel like it was just somebody trying to make money real fast, because even I could have done a better job. I mean, who am I to say? But I'm like, there's no predictability here, where it's like, well, Bob Dylan did it,
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So that was a fun one, right? They get tricky.
5.
They get tricky,
Tricky's
dude.
good. Tricky's good.
All right. So, how likely? This is completely different, and these are all very different. They're color coded differently based on like the style of questions, and the orange ones are the easiest ones. The green ones are just like who has the right answer for them, and the red ones are moral questions. Okay,
I thought that could be an issue.
Yeah. That's why it's fun. Okay, so how likely are you to do something for yourself versus somebody else? And that's like a day to day.
I'm so selfish.
That's all right.
Seriously, I'm so selfish. But I try and be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dichotomy there between wanting to be a good person but being massively selfish. I guess it's circumstantial, I like
You don't have kids?
I have a child. I have a daughter.
Okay.
And it's very hard being a parent when you're this selfish.
I was going to say that's where it would come in to haunt you, is if you have to dedicate your life to somebody else and you can't. I'm guilty. I had sort of selfless parents in a big way. So the example for me was there. And even with the example, I'm still very selfish. Does that make sense? Like
I think I'm the parents. Same. Yeah. I have 3 brothers, and they gave us everything, and yet somehow we all want everything for ourselves. I don't know how it happens.
Should have done more. Should have been confident. Should have told you I was scared, I was stupid then. You asked me when I was 13, I told you all too soon. I'm waiting for some bad behaviour to bloom. It's good now that we're not hurting, there's nothing much left to lose. Do you prefer yesterday to tomorrow too? 25. You tell me you've got a while. These days are as unfamiliar as a smile. Can you imagine being 30? There might be little left to lose. Do you prefer yesterday to tomorrow too? Shouldn't have hidden, should have said what I meant. We talk about the past and the letters that we sent. We used to fear being alive. We were more open then too. Are you now feeling more loved than bruised? I never longed for the separation. We had far too much to lose. Does your tomorrow come too soon too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had no qualms answering that one. So you selfish bastard.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's all right, dude. No judgment. This is a zero judgment podcast. Okay. I just need to get to know you a little better than, so when you were writing this song,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to know anymore. Those answers have never brought me fulfillment. I want to know how the people that I like look at the universe, not so much how they made an album. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is going on to a big picture here. There you go. Aliens, my friend. Where do you stand on the existence of extraterrestrials, and what evidence is the evidence that brought you into that realm of believing, if you do believe?
I'm such a skeptic towards everything. Like, I don't believe in ghosts or religion or anything like that, and because there's no evidence for it. But space is too big for there to be nothing out there. And although I'm selfish and self-absorbed, I'm not so self-absorbed that I think that we're the only thing out here.
Yeah,
There's something out there, isn't there?
Same. I want it to knock on my door and greet me for me to believe it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm in that same camp. It's too big to not, but too many fucking liars out there. That's what I gotta say. Too many people trying to sell books and magazine articles, and
Yeah.
We come in peace. We come in peace. We come in peace. We come in peace.
They came in peace.
We come in peace. We come in peace.
So, okay, here's a fun one. Every major city clearly needs less of what, and every small town clearly needs more of what. When you look at a major city, a metropolis, what is the turnoff? And then when you think about a small town and like depravity, what would change that situation into fulfillment,
Many cities here definitely have too many people, and a lot of towns, they don't have enough of certain types of people. I come from Boston, Lincolnshire, out in the sticks, and it's very white. It's a bit too far right than it should be, than it thinks it is, than it wants to be. And it was strange growing up, because you're at school and there's one black kid or there's one Asian kid, and it's bad, but it seems tokenistic. But now I'm in a city and it's so multicultural that you don't see they're not tokenistic anymore. It's just everybody. So you go back to my hometown and there are Eastern Europeans there now, and the town just hates them because it's going to get too political, isn't it?
No,
get too political.
they can't be. They can't get to anything on the show.
No, so the Eastern Europeans have come and taken their jobs, quote unquote. It's just absurd.
We have that same problem with Mexicans, man. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They took our job. They took our job. They took your deal. Wait a minute. I thought we were mad because of their gender choice and sexuality and stuff. No, those are those other guys. We just want our jobs back. Oh, well, let's get your jobs and make fun of them for their form of self-identification.
How are you going to get through your 30s after making it through your 20s? That's it, like.
Mate, I don't even know. It's the 20s was it was long. Life is so long.
Yeah.
People say it's short. People older than me will say that I'm so naive to say that it's long, but it's so long.
Yeah.
And I've talked to family, they'll say the last 10 years have gone so quickly. But I think, look at everything that's happened.
Yeah.
It's just taken forever to get here.
It is long because you forget about so much stuff. If it was so short, you'd have all these memories, you know? But it's like everything gets washed back. It's like a lifetime. It's like it starts over every 10 years for me. You know, you have to, like, if you don't have these pivotal memories, they're just gone. Just out.
Yeah, definitely.
Every 10 years, it's a rebirth. One of the things I love, one of the Conor Oberst lines that I loved, and I think it was from a Bright Eyes song. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just in one of his originals, but it said, the human race is in a second childhood.
Dementia, you better treat me good. The human race is in a second childhood. I never learned, but I understood. Oh, dementia, you better treat me good.
Human race is in a second childhood. And I like that because it's kind of like we hold on to all these little memories and stuff, you know, but the memories also remind us that we came a better time, almost like a simpler time.
Yeah, definitely.
Things just got more complicated. And being just able to, like, your mind to just wash that away and just be a child again, you know, it's like, that's a good thing to look forward to. Because old people become like children, you know?
Yeah, I've seen it in my dad, like he's mellowed so much as he's got older, and you know, he was just stern when we grew up. He could joke and it'd be funny as well, but the way he is now, I don't know if it's being a grandparent too, he's just mellowed so much. He's just got slowly more ridiculous as he's gotten older.
Mm-hmm. Like, who is this guy?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And it's really good. It's good.
Yeah.
So I think just getting to this point now, it's so easy for people to say that life is short because it's here now. But if you just think if I think where I was a year ago, I'd only just moved to where I am now. And a year before that, I'd moved again. I think I've had so many house moves that it kind of resets it every time.
Yeah, new environment.
Which is nice, but I just hope my 30s are less hectic or more settled than my 20s.
Yeah. Do you have a game plan for that? Like, have you nailed down a career? Are you still looking, still searching?
I don't know. I've had like a shift at the moment. I work in retail. It's just not that good. I can do it and it's fine, but recently I started selling records like more seriously. So now I've reduced my workload to like 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I could just make enough selling records on the side. If the fad sticks around, then I can do that hopefully for quite a long time. Again, maybe it's the selfishness of being in my 20s, but I'm doing everything I can to not go to work. Like, I will go to my job, I'll be on time, I'll work hard while I'm there, but if I can not be at work, then I will not be there.
Dude, that's great. Scroopius Pip has a line about that. It's called Rat Race. Have you heard that song? Or that?
I've not, no.
But you know who Scroopius Pip is?
Yeah, well, I know him more from Distraction Pieces.
Okay, yeah. I know him more for his rap, but I know that he will never go back to rap again. So check this out. You're gonna love this, dude. So he's talking about just being in the rat race, you know? And I believe he's talking about having a retail job just like while he's making music, kind of just to keep himself busy. He says, before long, my creative daydream is once again interrupted by the ever-watching eyes of the management. Because you see, like a child spinning in circles just to make himself dizzy, my only real requirement in this place is to make sure that I look busy. But I'm using that to my advantage, see? Just as not every open eye is seeing, not every closed eye is sleeping. So while they pay me for this paint-by-numbers shit, every thought I have, I'm keeping. And remember, that same shit can taste pretty different if they season it right. So if you're going to sell out your beliefs, make sure that your reasons are watertight. Because as the chief worker bee tries his best to nurture me and searches deep to find the key that might unlock and help me free buried inner bourgeoisie, yeah, that with time and effort I could someday secure my place of great integrity, rooted deep within the company's family tree, taking bulletproof steps from A to Z, leaping over the boring parts like a corporate flea. I look at my supposed luminary and I simply don't agree. So, dude.
I've never listened to his music. I really should. I think it was just Thou Shalt Not.
Thou shalt, yeah, always kill. But he does spoken word. I think the music came because he needed to find a different outlet for his spoken word stuff. But the hip hop is lyrically on point with his spoken word stuff. So you never really have to listen to his hip hop if you don't like it. Just check out his lyrics. It's all meant for spoken word. It's all meant for that performance. But the album, it's not distraction pieces. I believe it's no commercial breaks. Yeah, it's just Scroobius Pip, and the album is called No Commercial Breaks. Yeah, it's hard to get into because it's like the same thing we're talking about reading books. If there's a speaker that it just doesn't speak to you right, you're not going to hear anything they say. So I usually kind of tend to go for the underdog speakers. I don't know why, but like the guys with lisp and accents, and I'm like, those seem like challenges that you have to get across. And so
the closest I maybe got is probably related to that. Some Daniel Johnston kind of album tracks, King Kong from Yip Jump Music.
Yeah,
just like he's just speaking about it's just the story of King Kong for about 5 minutes, isn't it? And he's got a crazy voice, but it's great.
Yeah, that was really sad to lose him last year because he's one of those artists I never got to see live. He was totally on the list of thinking like I could totally make it around. He's still young enough, Yeah. But Willie Nelson's one of those that he's probably going to die before I get to see him. I keep
old now, surely. How old is he?
Yeah, 86, but he's still performing.
Oh.
Yeah, and he lives like 3 hours from me. So I'm like, I probably could have seen him 100 times, but I'm like, he's still doing it. He's still doing it.
Yeah, get him next year. He'll still be there.
Yeah, I think the reason I've never gone to a show is people are like, it's pretty boring, man. Willie's just old. He's trying, but he's just old, Like, I don't know, man. It'd be cool to sit with the old dude, just sit and talk and just hear him talk. I think would be interesting. I don't ever hear enough from somebody like that.
Call it sleep marching, call it what you please. See me good in winter, see me good in spring. Trying to take on sets for once, trying to settle down, curve your body my way, and we're facing to a frown. Consecrate our days, so ceremonial, put meaning to apophenia, find joy in the dull, moments in the period between our birth and death, build from our love a pyre, and make sure there's nothing left at the end. Call it sleep marching, call it love and thunder. See me good in autumn, see me good in summer. Try to sleep the time away, try to get off out, though I sleep bad these days. It wasn't like this before. We can consecrate our days, so ceremonial, the meaning to apathy. Find joy in the dull moments in the period between our birth and death, built from our love apart. Make sure there's nothing left in the end. We can consecrate ideas, so ceremonial, meaning to apathy. Find joy in the dull moments in the period between our birth and death, built from our love apart. Make sure there's nothing left at the end.
What kind of legends inspire you? I love like Johnny Cash, stuff like that. People who were just like against the grain, but still had their beliefs, like held tight to their beliefs, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess from that kind of field, I love like Towns Van Zandt, just that kind of outlaw spirit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like backstory and beliefs are secondary to the music. I'm just a sucker for good songs, and kind of what they have to say out of that isn't always that important to me.
Does it ever taint it?
Worse.
Yeah.
No, not really, sadly.
Hmm.
Like I can listen to Charles Manson and not be too offended by it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
What about Michael Jackson?
But yeah, I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, he was obviously, up to no good, but
yeah.
But those songs.
It's strange, man. I sympathize with that. My brain somehow can't stop putting everything together. You know what I mean? It's like if I know something about that artist, I can't not associate it with the music. Like if I know an actor is a Scientologist, I'm like I can't watch their movies anymore because because they're just master manipulators anyway, and I don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, that's funny that you say that because I kind of find myself on that moral fence. Like, should I not like this because of what he's done? But I mean, the music's undeniably amazing. Brand New is one of those for me.
Yeah, definitely.
With what Jesse Lacey had went through, while like all of that's coming to light, I'm literally doing an album review on science fiction. And I'm like, oh shit, like, where do I take this? Do I even release this review? But I just decided like, no, this has nothing to do with this album. This scandal has nothing to do with this particular, set of songs, which in my opinion is one of the best Brand New albums ever made. Yeah. And it was their last one. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just some of the lyrics in that album are definitely tethered to that event and that type of, he knows something bad's about to happen, mm-hmm. and it's sort of like foreshadowing for that. But there was a huge part of me that people even in the comments were like, this guy's a piece of shit. And like, and I'm like, dude, I get it. But until you take Michael Jackson off the radio and all these, and you take, all the films done by pedophiles off of the big screen. And I mean, it's just like, you have to somehow separate yourself, but I do find myself on that moral fence for sure.
I think the problem I find is that where do I draw the line? Because again, it would be libelous if they cared, but someone like David Bowie, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, I don't believe that they were never up to no good in the 60s and 70s. I just think for so many people in that kind of, if you can call it work, they're innocent until they get caught. And so many people would have been up to no good. They had everything. And
it's the
David
norm.
Bowie is, I just don't believe that Bowie or Led Zeppelin or the Stones were completely above board all the time.
Yeah. The Keith Richards audiobook it's like 24 hours, and I've gotten through like 10 of it. That dude is amazing. That guy can write songs in his sleep.
Well,
it's his biography.
He wrote Satisfaction asleep.
Satisfaction in his sleep. I mean, that guy just lives and breathes music,
I did read that about 10 years ago, and that's when I could still read books, and it took me a long, long time. And I imagine he speaks quite slowly as well.
He does, and he has Johnny Depp do some of it in the audiobook. So that's kind of cool. you get Johnny Depp's Keith Richards impression, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that they even admit to, you're like, big balls on you for admitting that.
Yeah, definitely.
And still having a career. But it's so funny, right? The cancel culture, the way everything catches up to you. And I love the perspective now that a lot of comedians are throwing back at the media of like, dude, when I told that joke, it was funny and people liked it. And you can't bring that joke to light now and cancel me because of it, because it was a different time, even 3 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. And it works, dude. It shuts them down. They're like, yeah, that's right. It was. But a lot of people they're offended by stuff now, and they go back and watch like a movie from the 40s, and they're like, oh, we have to get this movie taken off the register. You're like, no, because back then, blacks and whites couldn't sit in the same room. Women got slapped if they said something.
Yeah.
That's how it was. That was the norm.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really, really difficult to, I guess, navigate. Is it still okay to like these? Obviously, yeah, there were different times, but there's been a huge paedophile thing here around the BBC and old comedians, and they will all say they were different times, and I'm sure they were, but we know better now, and it was still breaking the law back then, whether they were different times or not. But it's a shady old thing, isn't it?
It is.
It really does.
I love that. I mean, I just think people should be able to say whatever the hell they want to say. I mean, they're just words. Like, it's how you process them. Environment is very important to where and when you say those things. But I don't think people should be held accountable for what they say. It's what they do that I think they should be held accountable for. That's just my opinion.
I think, again, going back to Bukowski, just because he wrote it down, and it was obviously autobiographical, name change or what, it's what he did, and they're all reprehensible things. And is anybody really surprised by Louis C.K.?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's still funny. I mean, I don't like stand-up that much, but I would still watch the show.
Yeah, he's still very thought-provoking. And that's what's so great about his comedy, is it forces you to reconcile with things that you don't want to think about, like your beliefs. He's got that thing about beliefs. Yeah. He's like, I have mine, he's like, but I don't believe in your beliefs because those are your beliefs. So, he's like, but you can't tell me how to believe because those are my beliefs. They make me feel good. My little beliefs. Got that thing about beliefs. Yeah. He's like, I have mine, he's like, but I don't believe in your beliefs because those are your beliefs. So, he's like, but you can't tell me how to believe because those are my beliefs. They make me feel good. My little beliefs. That's not something you want to think about, especially if you're religious.
Exactly.
So.
The trouble with these days is they go by far too quick, spending time, wasting time. And the days that I don't waste are just spent ignoring you, wasting time. These days are planned and we fall comfortable into let them roll by. It's so easy to watch them go. Counting down the moments till these days are over. Counting down the moments might take a little while, might take a little while. Trouble I'm having is I can't see where these days are going. Placing all my hope in days that do not include me. These days are pants and we fall comfortable into let them roll by. It's so easy to watch them go. while.
I have kept you long enough, my dude, and it's been really good. It's been really good. Just all
Yes.
over the board with you, man. Finally getting to chat.
Yeah, it's been good. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You're doing
Yeah,
a
bro.
good thing.
Thank you, man. I enjoy doing it. Puts a smile on my face
Again,
every
yeah,
time.
exactly.
Well, cool, man. Well, great to meet you. Go get some rest. Thanks for hanging out with me
Thank
late.
you. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'll see you, man.
All right, brother. Later.
And now, let's get all current and whatnot with Cam.
Two new game systems are supposed to be arriving this year. It's September and we have no price or release date yet. What I'm supposed to get for Christmas?
Is this what you want? Recreate my life! Recreate my life!
New study shows if you get bitten by a shark, bite it back. You'll probably still die, but the shark will be like, LOL, what?
I'm gonna eat that hairy leg. I'm gonna eat that one too. I got a whole bunch of rows of teeth to chew you with. Dinah, Dinah, Dinah.
$20 million awarded to Texas Parks and Wildlife for Bastrop State Park. The plan is to restore damage from a wildfire nearly 9 years ago.
Everyone loves a good comeback story, right? Seabiscuit, the Mighty Ducks, Robert Downey Jr. Yes.
Kim Kardashian.
Well.
In the video, she gets come on her back, I think.
Horoscope? We all got COVID.
Coronavirus gets killed at 82% of heat. Motherfucker, it's past 82% of heat. Bitch, it's done. That shit boring as fuck.
Starbucks employee Van Grayson from Nora, Indiana, fired after allegedly making a drink with bleach and what he called blood of innocent black men. It was all for a TikTok video.
Grow a fucking pair and not be such a crybaby Wiccan. Go cast a spell about it.
Back to you, Chaz.
All right. Thank you, Cameron. As always, that is a lot to take in. Let's get back to the show. Thank you guys so very much for listening to the show. Thank you so much to Liam James Marsh for sitting down chatting with us. Thank you to Easy Deviants for the intro music and Brock Berrigan for the outro music. And of course, all the other music featured in this episode is performed by Liam James Marsh and friends. All the links to his projects, or several of them, are in the show notes. Feel free to dig, you guys. Feel free to dig through our collection on Bandcamp. There's 300 albums in there, and another 100 in our wish list. So if you're looking for any type of music, it's in there, believe me. And by purchasing any one of those albums, you're supporting, the people on this show, really. Not necessarily me, but you are, in a huge way. It shows those bands that come on here that, our listeners are serious about the music that they want to hear, And they're willing to pitch in $1 or $5 for an album. It's not a lot to ask. Anyways, we're going to be back very soon with Sean James, a guy that we talked to in season 1 who has basically just gone on to do more amazing stuff than he'd already done. So really excited to talk to him. He's a great dude. And we're going to talk to Alice Catt, who we talked to at the very beginning of this season. She's got a new album coming out, so looking forward to talking to her. Man, it's been a busy week, but it rained today. Thank the Lord for the rain. Whew, glad you guys could join us. That is going to do it. Zephyr, you want to tell people goodbye? All right.
Good night, buddy.
Have a good night.
Good night, buddy.
Thank you, baby girl. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and follow the golden rule. And as it is a semi-tradition around here to close you out on another track, bonus tracks, let's send you out on one from Bedbound by Summer. This is Forever Surrendered Youth.
Pass the pages, pass the day, do my best to read an origami snake, moving from me, resembling you, patterned in color green and blue. I'm just checking in, I'm sleeping, I'm feeling alright. I'm just checking in, I'm sleeping, I'm feeling alright. Used to be your bad and we were both birds on our wire. Did you not ever tire of having me do my best for you, spending the days in my room? I'm just checking in, I'm sleeping, I'm feeling alright. I'm just checking in, I'm sleeping, I'm feeling alright.
Okay, as always, you guys, please go to our Bandcamp page and support these artists. Find Bedbound by Summer and many, many more. Click the link in the show notes. Thank you so much.
Good night, dudes. Good night, dudes.